Alright, so let's erase this, and I'm going to focus. Let's just discuss the periosteum later. Okay, I'm going to go about the periosteum later in detail. But first, let's just talk a little about the compact bone right here. So this entire thing is the compact bone, yeah? As you can clearly see. Well, we said when discussing the introduction that the compact bone consists of the bone matrix and the bone matrix, right? The hard and rigid stuff, the hard and rigid substance that contained collagen type 1, yeah? Collagen type 1, some of the proteoglycans. What else did the bone matrix contain? Collagen type 1, proteoglycans, glycoproteins, and very important crystalline compound called hydroxyapatite. So hydroxyapatite crystals, which are basically crystals of calcium phosphate that are hydrated. So hydroxyapatite crystals. And that bone matrix was surrounding a group of cells inside their lacunae, and that we studied in the previous video. Those cells were called osteocytes, right? I'm going to come to that in just a bit. First of all, I want to show you that this matrix, which is basically a crystalline matrix consisting of hydroxyapatite crystals, collagen type 1, and some proteoglycans and glycoproteins. It can be arranged in layers, okay? It can be arranged in layers. So matrix can be arranged in layers. So lining the very outside, we can see that there's an external circumferential layer, or we can call it lamellae, right? And that's the wording that they use for bone matrix layers. They call it lamellae, right? So we have some external circumferential lamellae right here. And then as we move inwards, we find ourselves with some circular lamellae surrounding some canals in the middle, right? These circular lamellae surrounding canals, they form the Hertzian system, or they're also referred to as osteons, okay? And that's what an osteon looks like in this diagram right here. So we've taken a portion of an osteon, and I'm going to show you in detail what it looks like. But before that, I wanna review the osteocyte right here in this image right here. All right, so we said that the osteocyte is the major cell type present inside the bone matrix, present inside its own lacunae, and what it has is canaliculi, small canals connecting it to other osteocytes, right? So we have an osteocyte inside its own lacunae surrounded by the bone matrix, right? And bone matrix can either be external circumferential, right, that we studied just now, or it can be circular, which is part of an osteon, which is right here. We're going to study it in just a bit. And then it has these canaliculi, these canals that allow it to connect and exchange materials with other osteocytes. Okay. So on the outside we had the external circumferential, and then then we have, as we moved inwards, we had the osteons that had the circular matrices, or basically circular matrix that was that contained the osteocytes, and it was surrounding certain canals that carry nerves and blood vessels. All right, so we just said that the circular matrix, which contains the osteocytes inside the lacunae with their canaliculi, but the bone matrix surrounds the circular matrix, yeah, which is part of the osteon, yeah. It surrounds a central canal. Okay, a central canal, and a portion of one osteon has been displayed in this diagram right here. And what they're showing is that there is circular matrix, yeah, there's circular matrix containing these lacunae embedded osteocytes, and they have their canaliculi that you can see in this diagram, and what they have is a central canal. Okay, this central canal is also called Hertzian canal. Hertzian canal. And this entire osteon is also referred to as Hertzian system. Okay, Hertzian system, Hertzian canal. And what this canal contains is the arteries, the veins, and the nerves that come inside the bone. The nerves conduct sensation, while the vein and arteries are for nutrition, the nutritional support of the bone. So what do we learn from this? One thing we learn from this is that bone is an alive tissue. Why is it an alive tissue? Is because it contains alive cells, right? It contains alive cells connected to each other by canaliculi inside their own lacunae, and a lot of them are part of the Haversian system, the osteons, right? Circular lamellae. Inside them, there's a Haversian canal containing nerves, veins, and arteries. So they're receiving the nutrition from these veins and arteries, and they're also getting a sensory input or output from the nervous system. All right, so this right here, this highlighted one right here, is a horizontal cross section of the bone, of the compact bone, right? But this right here, which I'm highlighting just now, I don't think you guys can see it, but this right here, yeah, this is a vertical cross section of the compact bone. And what it shows over here, well, right here, it shows the Haversian system, right? The circular lamellae surrounding the central or Haversian canals, forming a Haversian system, forming an osteon. Osteon or Haversian system are the same thing. And what they also have are some blood vessels going through certain canals that are not vertical but horizontal. Okay, horizontal canals. These canals are also called perforating canals. These canals are called perforating canals, but they're also called Volkmann's canals. I'm going to write that down. Volkmann canals. Okay, so part of the Haversian system, part of the circular lamellae. Between the circular lamellae, there's a central canal, which is also referred to as Haversian canal, and it goes from top to bottom, right? Top to bottom is the Haversian canal, while the perforating side to side canals are the Volkmann canals. So Haversian canal is top to bottom, vertical, and it is present inside the osteons, inside the Haversian system, while the Volkmann canals are perforating canals connecting different in different areas of the bone to each other. Now let me show you the exact same thing on a cleaner diagram. So here we have another cleaner diagram. It shows the Volkmann canals and the Haversian systems, the osteons. Okay, so here's the Haversian system right here. I'm going to write osteon right here, as this is another term that is used for the Haversian system. And what it contains inside the middle right here, let me just zoom this in. So what it contains in the middle is called what? It's called the Haversian canal, right? And the Haversian canals contain the blood vessels and the nerves, right? So here's an example of the Haversian canal containing this red-colored artery and the blue-colored vein. So the compact bone contains some Haversian systems apart from the external circumferential lamellae. So the circle lamellae are part of the Haversian system containing these Haversian canals that are going from top to bottom. Then we have also some perforating canals, right? These are the perforating canals, if you can see them. These are also referred to as Volkmann's canals, and that's what the compact bone structure looks like. Okay, I hope everything is clear. And then obviously the matrix that we have studied so many times already is that the matrix contains layers of the matrix and the lacunae containing osteocytes, and those osteocytes have certain canals, certain canaliculi, very small canals that allow the osteocytes to connect to other osteocytes and transmit materials. And obviously on the outside we have the lining of periosteum, which helps in bone maintenance, etc., etc. Then on the inside, which we haven't studied yet, is the cancellous bone, is the spongy bone, right? So we're going to study it just now. Okay, so the cancellous bone, which is also called the spongy bone, does not directly receive any nutrients from the blood vessels that come into the compact bone. So the compact bone receives these blood vessels that are part of the Haversian system and also part of the perforating or Volkmann canals, right? So top to down we have the Haversian canals, and perforating canals are called the Volkmann's canals, right? The cancellous bone does not receive nutrients from these blood vessels that are present in either the Haversian or the Volkmann canals. So the question arises as to where does the spongy bone receive its nutrients from? Well, The spongy bone is surrounded by a medullary cavity, right? And the medullary cavity interstitium, the medullary cavity fluid, contains all the required nutrients for the spongy bone. So what the spongy bone is able to do right here is that it is able to exchange materials with the medullary cavity. Okay, and the way that happens is through little gaps or little openings of the canaliculi of the spongy bone. So through these canaliculi, little openings, little holes, required materials are allowed to go in. Waste products are excreted out into the medullary cavity, and this is how the exchange of materials occurs in the spongy bone, through the canaliculi at the opening, basically at the surface of the trabeculae of the cancellous bone. Now here's what a cross section of a spongy bone looks like. What it contains obviously is the endosteum, right? Endosteum because it is on the inside, not on the outside. If it was on the outside, it would contain something called the periosteum, right? And the periosteum had 2 layers. Endosteum only has 1 layer. That 1 layer is the simple cuboidal layer of which cells? Bone forming cells called osteoblasts. It also contains some other cells like osteoprogenitor cells and the osteoclasts. Osteoclasts are able to resorb the bone. We'll study them in detail in just a bit. Okay, so this is how a cross section of the cancellous bone looks like. So it has the osteocytes inside the lacunae. It does not have any perforating canals, any Herbertian canals. It does not have any blood vessels going in to and fro into its system. So the exchange of materials that it does is that these canaliculi, I'm going to draw that in blue, this canaliculi can open into the surface, into the trabeculae, and is able to exchange materials with the medullary cavity. Okay,